Mark, would you, okay. Door. Now I'll call the meeting of the Carbon County Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for a moment of silence, prayer, pledge of allegiance. O Lord, giver of life and source of our freedom, we thank you for the many blessings. We know that it is from your goodness that we have received all we have. Gracious and loving God, we understand that you call us to be the stewards and the caretakers of our community. Help us in that role. Amen. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held April 2nd, 2020.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time?
Actually, we have one.
One guest
Yes.
question,
Want
yes.
me to read it, or?
Yeah, yes, what
So
specific
Mr.
question?
Robert Kistler, and Mr. Kistler, in the future, if you could also ensure you include your residence or municipality, please. Dear Carbon County Commissioners, for public comment at the April 9, 2020 Commissioners meeting. As we are all painfully aware, the impact of the COVID-19 virus continues to play out in a most negative manner. Today there was an article published that Pennsylvania is facing a $4 billion budget shortfall. Matt Knittel, director of the Pennsylvania Independent Fiscal Office, was quoted in the article. Quote unquote, taxpayers should be prepared for a significant reduction in state resources, Knittel said. Quote, what we are seeing, there's just no precedent for it, unquote. The article about the $4 billion shortfall was found on PA Prep Russ Diamond's Facebook page today. The words that accompanied his post follows. Russ Diamond, we're still 3 weeks away from April 30. You think all those county or comfy tax carve-outs and exemptions are going to survive this? Think again. On the other side, Pennsylvanian will be pitted against Pennsylvanian as the winners and losers of yesterday must be leveled out. Everything should be on the table. I repeat what I said this morning. No cow is too sacred that it cannot be eaten. Then there is a resource, a hyperlink. There is also an effort in progress that would freeze property taxes for a year in Pennsylvania. Please see following copied from Rick Bernstein's official Facebook page. And again, another built-in hyperlink. While working to get additional staffing to the unemployment office for issuance of checks, implementation of self-employed unemployment payments, and the payment of $600 per week federal money. We are also trying to ensure that property taxes don't increase next year as a result of this pandemic. This is important as people are struggling financially at this time. I spoke with PA Rep. Frank Ryan last evening and asked if the general term property taxes are just school district property taxes, or does that include county and local? I mentioned our county taxes increased by 19.6% this year, and that I had previously expressed that the decision to implement this increase should have been delayed. Rep. Ryan's response to me was that any tax bill that has already been sent out will not be included in this effort. Thus, at risk of sounding like a broken record, I once again ask the commissioners to do right by the citizens of Carbon County in this time of unprecedented emotional and financial strife, and to find a way to rescind this increase until at least next year, if not longer. Citing current regulation is not an acceptable response. Laws and rules are made, laws and rules can be changed. Carbon County does not live in a bubble. The citizens are not immune to the incalculable domino impacts of the virus and shutting down the economy. Committing to no increase next year is not an acceptable answer. Historically, Carbon County taxes remain flat for a few years, then make a huge jump. With the huge 2020 jump, we should be headed into a period of years with no increase. I am sure the commissioners are struggling with the reality of a steep budget shortfall and cost cutting. I understand the difficult situation you are experiencing, but folks need your help now more than ever. Respectfully, Mr. Robert Kistler.
Okay. Well, to begin with, we have our obligations. We have no clue at this point in time what this year is going to bring to us and the cost of this epidemic with the COVID-19. It is hard to be able to justify some of these sometimes to the public who do not sit at the table here and really know all the particulars of why these increases take place. We have an obligation to house and to supply our prisoners in the court system. We are obligated to supply the courts with the necessary staff and supplies and et cetera, the space, the people to perform those tasks. Our caseloads have been increasing over the years. Our prison population has been increasing over the years. Our maintenance issues at the prison have really hit us hard in the last 2 years or a year and a half, and these things continue to happen. We'd be hard to justify of any cutting, even if it was legal, of our expenses at this time. The county has taken some steps to try to reduce cost. We are at minimum staffing. We have furloughed either part-time or full-time employees to the tune of 97 people that are affected. They too have families and obligations and that we have to take care of as well. It's a difficult decision. We're all in this together, and I just can't justify, even if it was legal, cutting anything at this particular time because of our expenses, supplies we have been ordering, the hand sanitizers, the masks, the gowns, whatever we need to help combat this situation is getting rather expensive. Hopefully we'll be able to get some reimbursement from the state or federal government. So, my comment.
If you would like me to comment on my report that I was going to give at the end, sort of dealt with this new House or the Senate Bill 841. If you would like to report on that now, or let it go to later.
If it falls under the question, yes.
Well, it sort of does. Like, I think what is coming out here on Friday, the Senate passed Senate Bill 841. The vote was 50-0. 50-0, and it moved over to the House now, and they're supposed to be considering that on the 14th. And in that bill is for local governments for help, and some of the things are in there are for tax purposes. One of the things, and I don't want to get into too much detail, is because there's 5 different things that we could do with the taxes. We could move our base back, that somebody wouldn't have to pay the penalty. And if you for your taxes would be $700, you would probably be saving $70. So we're trying everything that we can, but this bill has to pass. And under this bill is also the communication for us, that we could telecommunicate. God forbid 2 of us would get sick. How would we run here? And we could telecommunicate. The public could still be involved in it, but under this bill, there's a lot of tax provisions that we could work with to make it easier for the taxpayer. And I think that's what we're here for. We see it. We see what they need. And any kind of relief that we can give them, I think we're all for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Kistler, I want to thank you for taking the time to make a public comment today. I agree with your premise. To include the fact that rules and laws are made and they can be changed. The unfortunate reality is that while we had an opportunity at 6 January, the board decided not to take that opportunity. Nonetheless, for a change to take place, that would have to modify the existing law that only allows one opportunity to review, rescind the annual budget. And of course, that would be our state elected officials in the House and the Senate. So I'm going to encourage you to forward your request also to Representative Heffley, Representative Knowles, and Senator Udicek. That's all I have.
Any other guests? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Okay, the next item is the opening of bids, CDBG project, Franklin Township Water Sewer Improvements fiscal year 2015 and fiscal year 2016, drainage improvements, Phase 1, Red Hill Road. The first bidder is Lindy Corporation out of Pittston, Pennsylvania. The amount bid, $208,074. The next bidder is Papillon and Moyer out of Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. The amount bid, $237,404.35. The last bidder is Bruce George Paving and Excavating out of Kunkletown, Pennsylvania. The amount bid, $177,852.44. That's all the bids.
They all have bid bond?
We're gonna check that as part of the review,
No?
okay,
Okay.
every week or 2 weeks.
So I would move that we table these bids forward to the Office of Planning and Development for review and recommendation, period of 2 weeks.
I'll second that.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
Report of executive sessions held?
there was one executive session held on April 8th at 10 a.m. for personnel reasons.
Next item, department reports, the budget transfers.
Move to,
Oh, go ahead.
move to approve?
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes,
There were no supplemental appropriations. Expenditures, approval of check numbers 212457 through 212561 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $1,425,685.08.
So moved.
Second?
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The treasurer's report?
Move to approve?
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
The personnel report?
Move to approve?
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
yes,
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Emergency management. For approval and execution, the amendment to the fiscal year 2019 State Homeland Security Grant Agreement between the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency, and the Northeast Regional Counterterrorism Task Force, adding Luzerne and Wyoming counties. The task force is comprised of Carbon, Lackawanna, Lehigh, Monroe, Northampton, Pike, Susquehanna, and Wayne counties.
Move to approve and execute?
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Planning and Development for approval and execution. Request was received from Planning and Development Director for approval of a contract for consulting services with Michael Baker International Incorporated of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to update the Carbon County Hazard Mitigation Plan at a cost not to exceed $44,895.
So moved.
Discussion. Yeah, so, yeah, of course, absolutely agree with the necessity for this, but just for clarification for the public, I know Commissioner Notstein is very familiar with the Carbon County Hazardous Mitigation Plan, which is a requirement to annually be reviewed and updated every 5 years. And it looks at those major damages, either natural or man-made, that the county could face, or the residents in the county could face, and how to mitigate the effects and how to recover through such hazardous event. And I will note some efforts that have been made by the county since the 2015 plan. On the 2015 plan, there was no recognition of a potential train derailment in the Lehigh Gorge State Park. Our emergency planners noted this deficiency, and in October of 2019 actually conducted an exercise, a command post exercise, to better understand how we could respond to a train derailment. And we have seen, I believe, 2 or 3 of those in the last couple of years in Carbon County. Another thing we're seeing that isn't in the 2015 plan, but I think we can all rest assured we'll see in the 2020 plan, is a pandemic. So again, these are issues that have to be regularly addressed, and I, of course, strongly support that we get the subject matter experts in here to assist us with updating this plan as necessary.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The Solicitor's Report.
For approval, Everett Home Care for approval and execution, a request received from Agency on Aging for approval to terminate the agreement with Everett Home Care of Lehighton for personal care and support services effective March 31, 2020. They are withdrawing from providing this service.
Move to approve and execute.
Second.
Mr. Honor?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Any further business?
Yes, under further business, right before the meeting, I received a phone call from John Nispoli from the St. Luke's Health Network. They will be having their closing today on their bond issue to build the new hospital in Franklin Township. Also included in that bond issue is the paying off of the $20 million bond that was issued through the county for the hospitals for various reasons. So that will be paid off. The county will then no longer have that liability on the records. So that is a great news for Carbon County and hospital authority, et cetera, that this is all should be settled as of today, I guess, except for maybe closing paperwork. So that is, to me, it is great news. So okay, that's all I have on further business.
The Commissioner's Report, Mr. Honor?
I would just like to continue on what I said before on the House or Senate Bill 841. It is really going to help all municipalities of local government out with some different kinds of relief. And like I said before too, this here will let us telecommunicate in case one of us gets sick. But I'd like to maybe give like a little bit of a temperature demonstration here on how we've been checking some people. And I mean, you have to perform proper safety. You should wear your gloves. This might take a while. And what I think one of the things while I'm getting ready for this, when you're outside, everybody is always saying that you're supposed to be 6 foot apart from everybody. You just have to remember, when you're spraying your garden hose out in the yard, when it's breezy, you see how far them droplets go? So that 6 foot is out of the picture when you're out inside a breeze. So take care that 6 foot could wind up being 27 feet. You know, so everybody be safe, make sure you wear all your masks, and when you do the proper thing for testing someone, and Jen is gonna be our test spokesman.
I hope she doesn't have a fever.
No. And we're gonna check her.
Why are you shaking?
Okay, now, she is 97.4, which is normal for her. Everybody that's in this room, I think Chris said that he's like 95.4 or 5.
97.
Not everybody's the same. The old norm of that 98.6 does not apply to everybody. And when you're outside, when you check yourself with one of these, you should be inside for a half an hour. Because the outside temperature could affect your forehead. It's going to be cooler, or if you're out in the sun, it could be warmer. And one of the other things, if your hair can make a difference. Your hair could hold more heat than what it is, and also your glasses. Your glasses could be cold up to an hour. So when you do this for the proper temperature, just follow all them procedures, and when you call your doctor, make sure that you make them aware of what this is and ask them what your normal temperature is. You might not be 98.6. So remember that when you're outside. I never avoided anybody. When I walked down the street, I always faced everybody. But right now, for the next 2 weeks, it's all right to cross over to the other side of the road. Thank you. Everybody be safe, and we'll get through this together. Thank you.
Little note on that. Rocky's coming to my home this weekend when it's windy, and we're going to demonstrate and film the spray. We're going to wait till it gets cooler, though. Okay.
Okay. Mr. Lukasevich?
Well, thanks, Rocky, for the demonstration. And Rocky was running around the office this morning taking everyone's temperature. So he does practice what he preaches. And I was out at the Jim Thorpe Market yesterday. I had my mask on and I had my gloves. I know a lot of people feel somewhat uncomfortable necessarily wearing one, but one of my goals is to help shame you if necessary by wearing it. And the more and more people who wear them, the more likely those reluctant individuals will indeed wear them. So not only protect yourself, but importantly protect those who you love. A couple things that people may not have seen that I'll highlight. Don't know how many other than lawyers are subscribed to the Carbon County Law Journal, but the issue of April 3, 2020, I mentioned this for the press. There is an updated Carbon County adult probation and parole confinement and release on parole policy that's out there. It's actually pretty interesting for those who have an interest in the correctional facility. Want to highlight just prior to our last meeting that on 1 April, Governor Wolf, through the Pennsylvania State Police, did authorize an extension for what I call concealed carry or license to carry firearms. Therefore, any expiration of a license to carry permit that is taking place at this time will be extended through May 30th of 2020. There's approximately 137 permits that will expire in Carbon County in this month. The Board of Commissioners received the notification from the Federal Aviation Administration of a determination in regards to, and this is a follow-up, so bear with me here, a determination of no hazard to air navigation for the Penn Forest, let's call it the Bethlehem Water Authority Avangrid wind turbine project. So Avangrid, understanding they do have a case under consideration by the courts at this time, requested an 18-month extension of their no hazard to air navigation. The FAA did grant an 18-month extension for that determination. Now, for those with an interest in that project, if the project does not start within this extension period, Avangrid will have to reapply the total project for FAA approval on that. Lastly, I want to thank the Times News for some of the great reporting they've been doing on the commissioners, Representative Heffley and Senator Udicak's attempt to get geodata released for the COVID-19 confirmed cases in Carbon County. And we do believe we're making a little bit of process. There was a meeting yesterday that included a Department of Health representative, so we know conversations are taking place. But I want to highlight what Governor Wolf stated on 26 March. It's not a battle, it's a war, right? He was bringing attention to the dire nature of the situation that the counties and the citizens of Pennsylvania face. Last night's Times News, Above the Fold, lawmakers push for viral information or info. I'm going to quote here. However, when Levine was asked about the issue Tuesday in her daily press conference, she said there are concerns about privacy and confidentiality, which prevent the department from releasing the data. It's always a balance between privacy and confidentiality concerns and the needs of the public, and we're continuing to weigh that balance. Well, doctor, this is what I know about being at battle and in war. We don't need decisions made by committees. We take counsel from our legal counsel, but bear in mind, lawyers advise, leaders decide. So what I'm asking you is to be decisive in your decision making and release this data for emergency management personnel as has been authorized by our Code of Federal Regulations and as enunciated by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Civil Rights. That's all I have.
I would like to comment on that also. This isn't, we're not looking for the names. We need locations, addresses. When our dispatchers dispatch to these homes, the emergency personnel, EMS and police in particular, they're taking their precautions. But when we have a known case at an address, they will take even more extreme cautions on trying to prevent the spread. It is also good for the emergency departments receiving these patients when they're transported. The fire departments, they're usually, if they're going into a building, they're usually wearing their self-contained breathing apparatus, so they should be good, but it's still a possibility of contaminating their clothing and the turnout gear and the time involved in the cleaning up and sanitizing that equipment could be rather lengthy, takes the equipment out of service. The air packs are easier to clean up, but we still have to wear the protective gear when we're doing that. If we have to, if we have to launder the turnout gear, it takes quite a while for that stuff to dry because of the heaviness of it and the thermal barriers, etc. It could take 24 hours or more to dry that equipment out. That equipment that that person's wearing, probably well over $10,000 now. So that's a lot of equipment, plus the apparatus that has to be decontaminated, as well as the ambulance corps. They're spending a lot more time out there on the streets protecting you and trying to protect themselves and protecting those that they will transport in those vehicles. So take us seriously when we request that. We need that information for the safety of our responders in particular. If you look at New York City, I think it was like 20% of their police officers had contacted the virus. You know, that we cannot afford that here in Carbon County with our responders. So a little bit on the mask. I went to the grocery store, I think it was early Thursday or Wednesday morning. 6 o'clock in the morning I was there, and 80%, I would say, of the people in that store had their mask on. It's that 20% that have not been taking this seriously enough in wearing those masks. And to get through this thing, there's more people that wear the mask, take the protective measures, social distancing, the sooner we all get through this. So I strongly encourage people to, if you don't have a mask, make a mask. And I've seen some innovative ones out there going to the grocery store. So please protect us all by protecting yourself. The other thing, as far as the mitigation plan, you know, for years being involved in that, we have our extremely hazardous substance plans that we have to exercise. Usually we do one drill a year with the local emergency planning committee. Fire departments always do their planning and training for healthcare facilities, daycare centers and all that. If you, maybe when things clear, you should take a tour of the emergency management and look at all the plans and books that are up there on hazardous facilities, the dams that are impossible or possibly high hazard, etc., or flooding, flood zone maps. Look at the daycare centers, the hospitals, and many, many other facilities that emergency planning goes into. So that's all I have today. Meeting adjourned. So get ready for our next meeting, which should be a short one, unless Lisa has some words of wisdom from Department of State. Nothing? Okay. This time I'll call the monthly election board meeting to order.
Good morning, everyone. First up is the approval of the minutes from the election board meeting held on March 12th, 2020.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Arner?
Yes.
Mr. Lukasevich?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning election board business at this time? Hearing none?
The only thing I just wanted to make people aware of, the election has now changed to June 2nd. Some people aren't aware of that. They're sending out emails when they apply for ballots, and they're saying they should receive them shortly. They're not gonna go out until May. I just want to let everybody know that. The last day to register has been moved. It is now May 18th. And the last day to apply for a mail-in or an absentee ballot is now May 26th. All of this information is on our website as well. And Commissioner Lukasevich, I'm gonna put it on Facebook as well. I know I'm gonna
Oh,
put
In
it
the
on
Yeah,
county
that's
website.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really all I have. I mean, they can call our office with questions. I know a lot of mailers are going out from the Republican Party. I know emails are being sent from the Democratic Party about forms. Those are all, just make sure you only complete one. And you can still do it online as well.
Okay. Any further business for election board? Hearing none, meeting adjourned. Lisa, you get to go first since you're the only one here.
So, I have a few things. First, I'm just gonna break some news. While we were in the middle of the meeting, we were alerted that I guess Governor Wolf has decided to close schools for the rest of the year in Pennsylvania. So if you guys have any comments about that decision, and I saw it coming, but
No, it's sad. I'm not sure how the distance learning is going with, so how that is or anything. I've seen some schools getting really innovative as far as graduation and having it at a movie theater, outdoor movie theater, and from your car for graduation and projecting it. So it's some trying times, and it's. I hope the kids are still getting the education they need and deserve.
and then as far as the requesting the case and the geographic information for cases, I don't understand why, because I live in Montgomery County, and Montgomery County has the information. Like, there's a map on the website, and
Yes.
I can see how many cases are in my town, so I don't understand why they can't release them to all
We
counties.
agree, and the way we understand it is some counties have their own health department. We fall under the Department of Health, Pennsylvania Department of Health.
From the
I
s-
guess that's something
yeah.
for the larger counties.
Yeah, from the state. That's how it is. Like, we fall under the state plan, and some of the counties that are reporting it like that, they have their own health department, so they can release it because it's theirs. The states is the states. It's not necessarily ours. I mean, it should be. And I said, like, one of the things I said, I think we should have this. I mean, that's what I feel. But I still think people gotta still distance themselves and just try to stay. If these emergency responders go out on a call, they should act like that person has it. You know what I mean? Take all the precautions. We don't want anybody injured or to get ill through this. I mean, it's like and that's scary. If we send responders out and they could get ill, they could take it back to the station. The ambulances are contaminated. I mean, this could be a bad situation that we're in. So it would be nice if we knew the areas where this was going on, because you could have an area that has 50 and maybe one has 1, you know. So and you should treat every area the same, but at least when they're walking into something, they know this is a hot spot. You know, just like the other areas. If you look at the other areas down near Philly, they have it hot spots. That's where you got to really take the precaution. But for our first responders, I mean, even if you're going to a fire to save somebody, even to just get, you know, a child or a dog or anything out, that could be passed through anything. So that's our scary thought. I mean, it's, but
Alyssa?
we're just under that from the state. I mean, there's,
Alyssa, I'm not willing to let anyone off the hook here. And I'm gonna tell you, Lehigh Valley and St. Luke's have been making a Herculean effort and doing an incredible job when it comes to treatment and identifying COVID-19, to include residents in Carbon County. However, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Nestor, the presidents and CEOs of those hospitals have the authority to release that information directly. So if the state doesn't want to provide it, the hospital should be providing it to us in a confidential manner and with the assurance that we're going to use it for its intended purposes, to protect those first responders. So no one's off the hook here. The authority is there. Release the data, release it now, help us protect our residents and primarily our first responders here in Carbon County.
I agree too. I know yesterday in the state's press conference, there was a question about possibility of the field house at ESU being used as like a temporary hospital, and the Secretary of Health said, I guess there's plans to, she didn't say exact location, but temporary hospital and then also a mass testing site somewhere in northeast Pennsylvania. I don't know if you guys have any insight on that, if it's something Carbon County residents would be, you know.
We do not, I haven't heard anything other than what you're telling us now. We're getting the same information. Those decisions, as far as we know, have not been made yet.
And then the one thing that I did a story on earlier this week was just about the concern with local fire departments with funding there because of having canceled fundraisers and how much that's hurting them. I don't know if there's any talk at the county level about a plan, you know, in the future to help volunteer.
well, I should tell you what my plan would be for that. I go and I buy pizzas from my fire company. Now, they were going to have a pizza sale next month. I'm still going to send them that money for that pizza. You know, they have to operate in that area. So I would get it out to all the citizens of Carbon County or even just across the state. You know, these people got to keep operating in these fire companies. If they had fundraisers, send them the money. Even if you don't think it's worth the $20, send them 10. Because they have hundreds of thousands of dollars that are invested that come out to save your lives, and they still need the money. So I would, you know, even you get down even to the dog shelters, everything, you know, the food banks. If you're available and have enough money to either volunteer or give money, do so in this time.
I think that's pretty much it. Oh, can I just have a copy of the Penn East correspondence?
Okay, I guess the other news media aren't calling in, so we'll talk to you next week. I'm not going to say we'll see you. You never know. Things
Anybody
could
needs a
change.
temperature check? This time I won't be nervous. I wouldn't be a good actor. I'd be nervous in front of the for the county and only a couple games. So hopefully the rest